Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camellia Crafts Designs. Welcome and welcome back. I'm here today with a viewer requested video. It was Rose, hello Rose. She asked me to go over how I made these. They are pages that I made in a journal that I did when I first started YouTube back in September or October 2020. So it's a couple of years ago now. And I did look at my own video and thought, yeah, that really needs redoing. So here we go. What they are these, they're just plain basic, or they can be, or you can make them a bit fancier. I'll show you both ways. It's just a page that you can put in to any signature in any journal that has pockets and flips and flaps, and depending on where you fold it and where you glue it will depend on how deep your pockets and flaps are, where they are. And yeah, so there, a couple of plain ones I made. I did make one with some book pages, and I did this one particularly to show the lovely florals on the pages and hide the writing. We do then have a flap there where you can see the writing on the book page. You can cover that in gesso, in tea-dyed paper, or you can just leave it and pop a paper clip on there to tuck something inside. Or you could glue it and make another pocket. Yeah, it's quite versatile, this page. I did another one, well, I did another two, and I went ahead and I put button string closures on to make them look like envelopes within your journal signatures. Yeah, that's what it looked like before, and that's what it looked like after I popped the button string closure on. I did another one on a plain page. Is this one still tied? Yeah, so that opens. You've got your pocket there. That's a much shallower pocket, but I just love the look of that one. Really like it. When you turn it, you've got quite a shallow pocket there. Looks a bit baggy there, but it won't be baggy when that is sewn into the signature of your journal. I just pop my ruler there. That's where it will be sewn in. Yeah, it will be. You can just pop anything in there. Just grab that bit of card and it will stay. And then you turn that open, got a flap. Yeah, the way I glued this one, you couldn't make that into an envelope because I wanted quite a really big flap on that side. Yeah, but it is all by doing the one same thing. Got one here made out of graph paper. I like that. You can sew them around the edge or not. It's up to you. What's that one? Oh, I went one step further on this one and I made a full giant pocket. I'll show you this one at the end if I've got time. Yeah, I'll have time. I'll put a timestamp at the start of each one of these. Now, the first one I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it with digital papers because I think that's the easiest way for you to see what I'm actually doing. Yeah, these are some papers like this purple one from Antonio over at Antonio Makes. I'll put a link in my description. He's got some gorgeous papers, loads of butterflies. I love butterflies. So I've picked two that are exactly the same. So first thing we need to do is I'll open that one so you know what we're aiming for. Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. In fact, let's open it that way, woman, so there's no button string. Yeah, we're aiming to make that. Looks a bit more simple like that, and I know a lot of you will look at this and know exactly what I've done, but I know some won't. So I've got my two sheets of paper here. I'm going to turn one of them upside down. It doesn't matter which. Yeah, if you're using directional papers, make sure you've got them pointing the same way up. Yeah, so that is going to become our pocket. Now I want the pocket to have a double edge just to make it a little bit more robust, so I'm going to fold that over. If you're really good at folding thin strips of paper over, come in and just fold it now like so. I'm really rubbish at that, so I'm going to get my scoreboard out. Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to get my scoreboard. I'll do it with just a ruler. I'll do it with a ruler and my scoring tool. Scoring tool, I know you're here somewhere because I've just been using you for about half an hour. Oh, there you are. I just tend to pile everything up on right hand side. Now, I'm going to score this at 2 centimetres, which is roughly 3/4 of an inch. Away from that edge. That's just a nice amount that I like to fold over. You could do less, you could do more. That part is entirely up to you. The more you score, the bigger the little flap, the less page you're going to have left. If that makes sense. The less paper you've got left, basically. You know what I mean. I do like to talk rubbish. That's just gives me enough of a crease. I'm just knocking all sorts over at the top of my desk. Get a little bit of a bone fold. So if I pop that back now, why can't I keep this right way up? Oh, it's because I've gone and scored opposite edge to what I was going to score, but does it matter? No, not really. So that is now going to be a pocket. I'm then going to turn this over so I keep straight with what I'm doing, and I'm going to make that into a pocket. Yeah, so I'm going to score there again. I'll get my scoreboard for this because you've seen me do it with a ruler once. You don't need to see it again. I'll use my scoreboard upside down now. Makes it easier for me. So I'm going to score 3/4 of an inch. You know these people have the scoreboards that score from the right? They're much easier for us right-handed people, I think. I think we're all using left-handed scoreboards apart from them smart people who bought the ones by, is it the We Are Memory Keepers one, where the note starts there and it works across? Yeah, I think I might get one of them. So I've scored that at 3/4 of an inch, which is roughly the same as 2 centimetres. Right, let's fold that. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to use some glue to glue that flap down because we don't want it. That's going to be a pocket. We don't want things catching when we put things in it. I hope you're following this, Rose, and I hope anyone else is. Because I did it quite briefly. I didn't explain it very well, and it was 2 years ago. And it was within another video, so you wouldn't know that's what the video was about. Right, I'm going to glue this one as well. I think this is 120 GSM paper I've used. I use copier paper, photocopier paper. I don't use out fancier than that. If you look quite closely, there's a few lines on this because my printer needs realigning. Because cat keeps jumping on it. Right, so this is the bit where it can go horribly wrong. Right, get them both same way up now. Right, that's my bottom sheet. Yeah, we know that's... Do you know what, woman? Put an arrow on this. Just go... Do. You know that bit's going to be covered. Do. Yeah, try putting an arrow on it. It does help. So that's that. And then I'm going to turn this over. So that's the bit that I've folded. And I'm going to decide where to glue it. Now, if you glue it further over towards the edge of the paper, you're going to have bigger pockets and smaller flaps. And you're also going to have narrower pages. If you glue it further out like that, you're going to have smaller pockets and bigger flaps, and you could end up with wider pages depending on where you fold. I'm going to do it about there. To be quite honest, I never measure these when I'm making them. I just go for it and see what I end up with. But for you, I will tell you, I've left, how much have I left? 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4 inches. I always end up doing it somewhere about there, about 4 1/4. Right, I'm now going to glue this edge. Grab your glue, woman. Oh, you didn't put your pin in what you like. You know it goes gloop if you don't put your pin in, yet you still insist on never putting pin in. I am that person who leaves cap off toothpaste. I really am. Sorry. All the time. In fact, we have that pump toothpaste now, so it don't really matter. But never put lid on that either. Right, that's that. It's not going to get stuck. So I'm just going to go from about there. And I've got to turn this. I can't do a thin bead of glue unless I'm at the right angle. A thin bead of glue, or you use whatever glue you want. If you're going to sew it, you can use less glue. I don't know if I'm going to sew this, so I'm going to put enough on to make sure it stays stuck. Quite often I tend to just sew them if, I don't know, sometimes paper can wrinkle, can't it, if it's thin. If it looks wrinkly and I don't like look at my edge, I'll just whiz round it on the sewing machine. make it look a little bit more pleasing to the eye. It's all personal preference, isn't it? Some people like it to look very wrinkly. I've got this thing where I don't like tea-dye envelopes because I don't like how wrinkly they look. Oh, I did have that thing. I'm starting to like the look now. Just gonna make sure that's nice and straight. Yeah. I've not covered the arrow up this side, so I'm gonna have to rub that out. Oh, nice. Good job I did it pale. Yeah, if you're gonna do your arrows, do them pale. And I'm just going to lift this one up now, and I'm going to put my glue on. So I'm going to start there and just go all the way along there and make sure that's stuck. Now at this point I would leave it 5 or 10 minutes before you go creasing this, because what could happen is your glue could come undone, especially if you've only put a little bit on ready for sewing. So I'm just going to pause my video for a few minutes so you don't have to just sit and watch. Oh, we could. Yep. And I'm back. So while I paused, I put pin in my glue and lid on my glue stick like a good girl. So it's stuck now. So we've got pocket there. Turn the whole thing over. We've got another pocket there. You'll see that I've done it opposite way around to this one. But look, can you see? If I have my butterflies upside, I can't believe I've done that I've done that exactly the same, and I'd guesstimated it. So when I said I quite often do it about same place, I meant exactly the same place. I bet I couldn't do it exact again. But yeah, as you can see, it doesn't really matter which way you do them, especially if you're making it out of your tea-dyed paper like this, because you can just turn it, can't you? Of course you can. Right, now what I like to do next is I like to fold this in half. Now you don't have to fold it exactly in half. In fact, let's not do it exactly in half. Let's do it not perfect. Yeah, then we'll end up with something completely different to that first one. You'll see what I mean. I'm going to crease that. That is now going to be where I sew it into the signature on our journal. Yeah. Now I'm left with that. So, oh, look at that. That's quite a big flap. That could be just another complete trifold page. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fold that just short of that. So as you're going through your journal there, you may not even realise at first that's there. You open it up, another page, oops, and a hidden pocket. So that's that side, yeah? Now this side, if I want it to be, both the pages to be the same width, I've got to fold it there. So, shall I fold it exactly the same place? I think I will. So I'm going to use the edge of that page as my guide to know where I'm going to fold it. And then I'll fold it over, see what happens. Yeah, so I've ended up with two completely different pockets now, just by deciding to fold the centre in a slightly different place. I'll bring back this one. Oops. There you go. Let's have butterflies right way up. So I've just made those two things in exactly the same way, and I've got two completely different things just by not creasing that in the centre. Had I creased it in the centre, I would have ended up with exactly this. Yeah. So can you see what I mean about it being a very versatile way to make some very interesting and different pages for your junk journals without a lot of fuss? I promise you, if you make a few of these, you will get used to it. When I make the first one I've made in a while, I have to like, ooh, what did I do? And I always save one as a reference. So we've got that there. If you want to put button string closure on, you can. At this point, I'm not going to put that on here. I'm going to wait and see what project it ends up in and then decide. So that's the one I've made with the design paper, digital paper. I'm now going to make another one with some coffee dyed paper. I've gone ahead and I've already glued the edges of my paper. Just folded them over and glued the edges down just to save a little bit of time. So yeah, as you can see, these pages are now just a little bit shorter because all I've done is score them at that 3/4 of an inch mark, put my glue on and stick them, and they're all now stuck for me. So I've got these two papers, and I'm going to make another variation again. This time I'm going to glue them in a completely different place. So get your glue, woman. We had the others overlapped quite a lot, didn't we? This time I'm going to overlap it a lot less, and you're going to see a completely different combination of pages. So I'm going to glue from there to there. I've got both my flaps on the inside. Yeah, make sure you get your flaps in the right place when you do this. Glue that. I'm going to flip this. I think because these pieces of paper have come from different packs, one is a little bit taller than the other. Not a bother. Once I've glued it, I can trim that. So that's just a slight difference in the size of the paper, because they've obviously come from two different packs. I tend to save all my creased and wrinkled paper for coffee dyeing, and I just chuck them in a box, and then when I come to coffee dye, I just grab an handful of whatever's there. There we go. And I'll trim that off after I've done my folding. Oh, you don't even have to. It's not the end of the world, is it? It's a junk journal we're making. Not a Hatford Queen. Right. Now, I don't know why, but it tends to glue quicker, this coffee dyed. So I'm not too... when it's coffee dyed. I saw someone in a video, and I don't know it where, who said it's harder to glue coffee dyed paper. If you're one of my subscribers... I'd love to have a conversation about that, because I disagree. My God, this art glitter tends to stick quicker. It's like, I'm like, and I can't remember who I was watching. I don't want to start an argument. It's not like she says, I said. It's just, it's got to be something to do with kind of paper we use, or glue, hasn't it? But I tend to find mine sticks better on coffee dyed. Yeah, that didn't want to stick very good, and I had to leave it a bit. Weird. Right, shut up, waffling woman. You've gone off on world's biggest tangent. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I want to fold this in the middle, because I'm going to be left with some rather small pockets, and I don't want... That would be too small for a pocket. We're already going to have two very small pockets as it is, but that is by design. So I'm just going to show you. You can go to town flipping and flapping your leftover bits. I'm not going to measure it again. Just that. So folded it dead in half. I'm going to crease that. So now, as you can see, I've got very small pockets. So what I'm left with now is I could do that, and I could have some very wide journal pages with big flaps and small pockets. Or, so this were a traveller's notebook journal. I could even go ahead and do something like this. I mean, it doesn't have to be a traveller's notebook. You could be doing a full-size journal with some interesting flippy flappy pages. So I'll fold that again there, so that folds in and in again. We've got a pocket there. Then I'm going to fold that in. These are going to be different sizes because I'm just winging it, doing it by eye. I'll fold that one there this time. Ooh, that was lucky, weren't it? So there we have another page. That could flap out, or we could do this. Turn that one over. Oh yeah, I'm going to make another pocket, and I just decided that now. So get your paper, get folding it, get messing. You'll come up with all sorts you didn't know you were capable of doing. Whee! We got a wee in, didn't we? So fold that. Yeah, it's one of them wrinkly edges with paper stretched, so it's going to annoy me. But it'll get wet and wrinkly again when I put some glue on it. Whee! So I'll get my edge in. I just want to get these wrinkles under control. I want to tame my wrinkles, but yeah, oil of Ulay. Other face creams are available. That's an old one, innit? That's your grandma uses oil of Ulay. Didn't they change name, didn't they, to Olay anyway, I think? I don't know. I'm still upset over marathons becoming Snickers. Don't even go there. I'm just putting a bit of this on because I didn't quite get enough glue there. Here we go. Yeah, if you're wondering what I'm on about, people over in the US, we used to have a chocolate bar called a Marathon. Yeah. You had a chocolate bar called a Snickers, and apparently you won. Yeah. Because it's now called a Snickers here. It's like, what? They took away a piece of my childhood there. I'd love to eat a marathon. Now all I can do is run one, and that's never going to happen. Right, so I've made another pocket there. You might be looking at this thinking, what on earth is she doing? I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing when I started this one, so... Right, let's have a look, see. Oh, I'm quite liking that. We have still got somewhere where we can sew it in. So we've got... Oh, I like that. I really do. I'm going to have to put this in the centre of another page just to show you how it works. So imagine this is my junk journal. And I'm sewing that in there. Yeah. I think sometimes when you put the shorter pages in, it balances out the fact that you might have a lot of stuff stuck on edges of some pages. So, flipping through the journal. Oh, what's this? We've got a pocket. Oh, let's get something. We've got a pocket. We turn it. Oh, yeah, we're going to have another page there, aren't we? So, we've got a pocket. We turn it. Oh, what's that? Oh, look at that. And it all folds out for you to journal on. We like. We'll carry on flipping through the journal. We're not bothered about that when we've seen that. And what we got? Oh, what we got here? Another page with a pocket. Turn it over. Oh, we've got... didn't quite finish gluing, but when that's finished gluing, we've got a pocket there. Oh, and it flaps out again. We've got a page for journaling. I'm thinking I might even want to... Yeah, I like that better like that. See, I've just changed the way it flips and flaps. Open it, we've got pocket there, pocket there. So can you see how this is one basic fold and glue, but you can end up with anything. I'm going to show you one more before I go. If you're not, I know people always say they love me waffling, but sometimes I just think, am I actually talking sense? Oh look, let's put my pin back in so that while I'm rambling on, things aren't drying up. There you go, put lid on that. Right, the last one I'm going to show you is one I've done with book pages. Right, so this is the finished article. I made this a little bit wide, to be honest. Where I creased that, it's going to make for one wide page. So all you could do is just crease it a bit further along. Yeah, and then it'll fit better in your journal. But I like it. I might make a wide journal, who knows. So I started off making that with 2 book pages. Let me grab 2 that I like. I love that blue, but I don't know whether I want to mix it with yellow. Oh, that's pretty. We'll save blue for another day. I'm not too keen on that. So we're left with these 2. Right. First thing you need to do is decide how tall your journal is going to be. Now, this book page is, what is it? It's a lot taller than any journal I ever make. It's 9.5 inches nearly. That's far too tall for me. So I'm going to grab my chopper. I'll put my extension arm on. And the most I make a journal page is about 8.5. So I'm going to chop a little bit off top and a little bit off bottom. I'll start by chopping off bottom. I'm just going to chop that bit off with names, I think. I know it's sad to see them go, but what can you do? So made that 8.5 inches. I'm going to do the same to my... Oh, I've got too many pages. That were 2 pages stuck together. I like that. Lots of yellows. I've obviously picked the part of the book with all the yellow flowers. The book does have all its flowers actually arranged by colour. So I'm going to cut that at 8.5 as well. And then I'm just going to cut a little bit off top. I think I want to cut I'll cut 1/2 inch. So my page is going to be 8 inches high. Yeah, I like that. So 8 inches. Bear in mind also that book pages aren't always square, so if you need to trim little bits off here and there throughout this, don't panic. Don't have an hissy fit. So, did I make that one 8 inches? Oh, that one's a bit smaller. So we've got these two. So we're going to open them up now and we're going to treat these two like our 2 bits of A4 or letter size paper. And I want to decide which bits are going to be showing and which bits are going to get covered up. Because if I bring this one back, as you can see inside the pocket, if I can open it, you lose some of the edges. Now, that's not the prettiest flower, so I don't think I mind losing that edge. And that's not pretty. Oh, I'll lose that edge. Yeah. And what's that one? Oh, I like that. So I'm going to make that one like so. Yeah. So we've got flowers on the right, flowers on the right. If you're making this with any old book page and you really don't care what shows and what doesn't, then just make sure they're both, well, make sure they're both the right way up. You might not care if they're upside down. I don't know. Right, I'm going to, score on that bit and fold that over because that's going to be the edge of my pocket. On this one, I'm not going to go quite at 3/4. I just want to do up to where the foliage starts. So, there we go. Fold it. Bone fold it. This is just a way to do it that gives you a page where you initially just see all the lovely florals and none of the writing. You can put, like I said before, you can put tea-dyed paper over the writing for a journal spot, or if you know who's getting this, if it's someone who don't mind slapping a bit of gesso onto a bit of writing, there you go. Or someone who's going to carry on journaling in it. It depends on what you want to do. So that's that page. I'm going to bring this page back in now. So that's our pocket. Yeah, I'm going to take the whole thing and turn it over just so I don't get my own knickers in a twist. And I'm going to need to put a score mark down there. Again, I'm just going to go up to where the foliage starts. I'm lining this up on lines on my mat just to make sure it's not too wonky. We don't mind a bit of wonkiness, but too much wonkiness is just too stressful, isn't it? Whee. So, come in again, fold that over and glue it. I did get one of these ready earlier, but then I thought, no, you're going to need to see this bit. There we go. I'll bring my other page back in now. So, that's that. That's the inside with the lip on. Everything's running the correct way. That's got my lip on. And I'm going to glue this now. I want to glue it so that it covers that bit up. Yeah, otherwise your page is going to want to bend in the middle. So bring this back to look at. That's your natural centre of each book page, yeah. And by overlapping that a little bit, you've still got a nice sturdy page that's not going to want to bend where it shouldn't. So grab your glue, woman. That wants to fall down now. Place it how you want it. I think we'll lose that much. I think I just want to see the edge of that. Yeah, that looks pretty. So I'm going to come in again and glue from here up to where this page ends. And it's just the start of that leaf. Again, if you're not going to sew these, make sure you put enough glue on so that they're not going to fall apart on you. Because we don't want that. There we go, get it straight as you're happy with. yeah, that's the thing. Get it as straight as you're happy with. Some of us, well, I am becoming much less of a perfectionist through making junk journals. I look at some of the things I was faffing about with when I first started. I'm like, why on earth were you faffing with that woman? Does it really matter? Are we on camera? Yeah. I'm going to lift that up again. Start my glue line there. Then I'll just fold it back. It's harder to fold that back because it's a book page and not a sheet of paper. Whee. So this is the third one we've made now. I really do hope you're following this. And we'll glue that down. Whee. Now this is where well, it was not a mistake. I totally forgot to think about how wide my journal was going to be that this page went in when I made this prototype. I just folded it where I wanted. So this time I'm going to think, right, my journals are never wider than A5, which is, what's A5, people? It's what's A5? Grab a piece of paper and measure it if you're not sure. A5 is not that much. It's half of that, you daft woman. Dirty thump. I need a chart on the wall with all these measurements on because my brain keeps losing them. They keep falling out. 5 3/4 inches wide. So I am going to make sure that when I fold this flap, my page is going to be 5 3/4 inches wide. Now, I've given that a few minutes to glue while I've been waffling. So I'm just going to fold this over. I'm going to go halfway. I'm going to fold that. So that is our centre crease. Again, the bit that's going to be sewn into signature in our journal. There we go. We like it. So I'm then going to fold this over, and I don't want it to be any wider than 5 3/4, or it'll be too big for my journal. So I'm going to let's make it 5 1/2. Make it 5 1/2. Make it more or less, don't really matter, totally up to you. So that's that. If that's then too long for you, you can always cut a bit off. It's totally up to you. I'm going to fold this one in this way, and I'm going to use that as a guide. So yeah, that's it. I knew what I was doing, even if I forgot to tell you lot. So we've got that, we've got that. So we now have got another 2 leaves for our journal. So we've got that on the front. I just love all the similar flowers. Pocket there. I didn't do any inking on this one. I inked that one so you could see a little bit better. Pocket there. I'm going to sew this, by the way. If you're thinking just pulling all that glue apart, I'm going to sew it. I've decided. Turn it over. We've got a flap there with lots of journaling space if you put tea-dyed paper, or you could still glue that and have a big pocket. We've got a pocket there. Turn it over. You've got your flap again. And so there you go. I really do hope you followed that. One thing I haven't showed you is how to put the button string closures on. I'm not going to show you that because I have done that so many times. I'm going to link to a video where I made a folio with a traveller's notebook journal insert, and in that one I show you how to make these button string closures that you can glue on afterwards if you've forgot to put a button string closure on. In fact, this is the better example. Let me show you. If you look on that side, there's nothing there. You don't see the other side of the eyelet, or if you're making with brads, you won't see the other side of the brad. And it is one just like that I made. So I will link that video. It will also come up on your screen now. You'll see a little eye. Yeah, if you click on that link, it will take you straight to that video where I show you how to make the button string closures. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that was a little bit better than clear as mud. Yeah, and I'll thank you, Rose, for asking about that. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, I'm back again. I forgot I said I'd show you a bonus page at end, didn't I? Right, it's this page. It was the one with the full-size pocket and the little pocket there. But I think after watching what you've just watched, you're going to know how to make this already. But here goes. Right, I'm going to grab 2 sheets of, I don't think I've got 2, have I got 2 tea-dyed paper sheets left? I've got quite a few. Oh, that's awful. I don't like the colour of that. No, I haven't. So I'll grab a couple of sheets of this. Oh, there, I put them over to one side. And I made that from a full-size sheet, a full width. Yeah, the only thing missing is where I folded that edge over. And then the other was a part sheet. Now, I don't have a part sheet, so I'm going to make one. So let's just chop that off. And just to show that it doesn't matter how big your piece of paper is, I'm just going to randomly chop some off. Randomly, I've made it 9 inches. Because there's going to be someone who asks measurement, isn't there? So I've got one that is full width. It's an A4 sheet. It could be letter or whatever you're using. And then the other is 9 inches. So I'm going to come in and do some scoring. I want to score at, I'm going to do it at 1 inch this time. 1 inch on both those edges. And 3/4 of an inch on just that edge. Yeah, I'm making that a bit deeper so that I can come in with my circle punch and cut a little notch out and you won't see where it's flipped and flapped. Right, put that upside down, woman. And because this is quite thin paper, I'm going to try scoring them both at the same time. It could go horribly wrong. One never knows, does one? Wee. Because I've just been all posh and said 1, I think that's the royal wee today. Wee. There we go. So that's them 2. Oh, I've just nearly took what nails I've got off on edge of the scoreboard. Oh, that's an horrible feeling. I did that other day and I'm saying to my daughter, oh, I did that thing where you catch edge your nails, and my youngest chews her nails, so she had no idea. She's like, no, Mum, sorry. I don't know that feeling because she's a nail biter. I was when I was younger. Weird, now I just cut them down because I can't be bothered to do it with them. I can't craft with long nails. I just can't. I'm not one of them people. It would be an even bigger comedy of errors than it can be currently. So we've folded those 1 inch strips over and I'm gluing them. I'm gluing them really well because I'm going to be cutting a little semicircle out of one of them. I mean, you could just use 2 pieces of paper that are exactly the same width and make a page that has got full-size pockets on both sides. You could. It's entirely up to you. I just happened to have not quite a full sheet. Yeah, that's me. I'm not quite a full sheet. Yeah. So that's that. Whee. I'll wait before I cut my semicircle till my glue's dried. Or my, my punch might get in a tangle. So then I'm going to fold over that side as well. I might as well score it on board. And oh, I've gone and done it at 1 inch. That's how much it doesn't really matter. Because in my head I've just done other 2 at 1 inch. So I've done this the same. Silly woman. So the short piece is folded over at both sides. And the long piece is folded over just on one side. Right. So get the big piece back in, the bit that's folded facing, and on this short piece, the bit that's folded, so that's on the inside of the pocket. Yeah, and all I'm going to do is glue them together. We'll find out how big that pocket's going to be when we fold paging off. So, bead glue. Again, think on as to whether you're going to be sewing round edge. In fact, if you're going to sew this one, you couldn't sew up that edge, or you'd sew your pocket shut. So if you did want to sew this, do it before you glue it. You could just sew across bottom and top. That can look good sometimes. I do that, especially when I'm sewing cardstock pages together to make pockets. That's that. We'll turn it over and I'll glue this bit. This one, it's quite easy, this one, I think. These are all things that get easier the more you do them anyway. I've quite often got a load of these stashed in my spare I've got a journal that put spare pages in that didn't quite make it into their intended journals. And I've got an ideas journal with one of everything in. Right, so that's that. Let me grab a... Oh, I put my circle punch away. What am I like? That's something I almost never do. Let's grab you. What are you? You're my 1.5 one, yeah? So this is a full-size pocket. Now put your semicircle on whichever side you want. I'm just going to do it on this side. I'm doing it upside down so I can see. And I'm just going to punch. Yay much. There you go. If you come in then and ink that, you'll be able to see it even more. There you go. And then decide if you want both sides of your page the same or slightly different. It's totally up to you. I mean, again, if this was a traveller's notebook, you could fold that over as a flap, fold that over like so, and you would have a different page altogether. It really does depend. It's all on where you glue it, where you fold it. And you can get such a huge variety of different pages. And you can even then go even further and start sticking other flips and flaps on. So that's that. How big did our pocket... Oh wow, look at that. Couldn't do that again if I tried. It's nearly exactly the same, isn't it? It's what, 1/8 of an inch shorter or longer. So we've got a big pocket there. That will be a little pocket there when it's in your journal. And this one's turned out exactly the same somehow. Oh, I did good there. I'm quite proud of that. I'm happy. So there you go. That's your bonus page. So grab your sense and paper. If you're doing this for the first time and you're not sure, just grab some copy paper. I don't know. I know everything's getting more expensive, isn't it? But I think we can still get 500 sheets of copy paper here for less than £5. So we're talking a penny a sheet. So get some. Just play. Just mess. Just practice. Don't do it for the first time on your favourite paper. So yeah, play and mess. Right, I'm going now. I'm not going to say all proper tras. I'm going to go and find Nala. She's not very happy today because we've put a cat collar on her with a bow and a bow and a bell. So she's running around garden. 1 minute she's trying to get bell off. 1 minute she's trying to get bow off. Next minute she's chasing a butterfly. It's so cute. I really ought to try and film it. Anyway, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.